Very good evening, everyone. Welcome here to the Kimsey Athletic Center, the home of the Kenna Hall of Army Sports. Proud to welcome you with great excitement. We have you all here today as we get set to induct the 16th class into the Army Sports Hall of Fame. Amazing to have all these former cadet athletes with us here today, and just the greatness of the history of Army athletics, and so many people in the same room that have meant so much to the history of this great institution. Before we begin, I'd like to go over the schedule for today's events here in the Kenna Hall of Army Sports. The inductees will speak, then we'll unveil the plaques for the members of the class of 2019. During that time, we'll begin to transport you down to Eisenhower Hall for the banquet. You can stay for some photos, but you can be back here tomorrow all day. The Hall of Fame will be open, and then we'll get everyone down to the banquet to get that started. So thanks again, everyone, for coming out. At this time, I'd like to recognize the dignitaries with us here this afternoon. The Dean of the Academic Board, Brigadier General Cindy Jebb, welcome. Chief of Staff, Colonel Mark Beeger, and his wife, Amy. And, of course, the Director of Intercollegiate Athletics, Mr. Mike Buddy. And welcome our distinguished visitors and family members who are with us here today. With that said, I'd like to welcome to the lectern Director of Athletics here for the first of many Army Sports Hall of Fame banquets and induction ceremonies, Mr. Mike Buddy.
Thank you, buddy. So I'm mic'd up, so I don't have to go back to the lectern, but I've never been called a dignitary before. Awesome. A lot of firsts for me in the 3 months that I've been here at West Point. But this is obviously a special night for so many of us. Dan McCarthy, great work on the video board. We got it. That's a photo op for the inductees tonight. So obviously, I'm thrilled to be a part of this family. So many of you in this room, and certainly our inductees and their families, know what a special place West Point is. I can only imagine the excitement at getting the call to find out that you're joining a group of people, the most elite. So what I've learned in this short time at West Point is it's a special young man or a special young woman who embraces the opportunity to serve their country, to attend West Point. And to be in the top 1% athletically of being recognized amongst the top 1% of kids who are willing to make this commitment has to be overwhelming. So I'm thrilled to be a part of this. Certainly the voice of Army Sports said it very well. Like, I hope this is the first of many, many. But I know none of you had an easy trip coming from Korea and South Carolina and Minnesota. You got your children with you. It's got to be tremendously emotional for you. So the great thing about West Point is the history and the tradition and the overwhelming dedication and honor that goes along with being a graduate of West Point. And so the great part for me, where I stand, is this is forever. Like, West Point is not going anywhere. So to know that their grandchildren, or their great-grandchildren, can come visit West Point and see your enshrinement in the Athletic Hall of Fame is quite an honor. So I'm thrilled to be a part of it. I can't thank you all enough for making the efforts to be here. This is a weekend of celebration, and this is just the first event to kick this off. So please enjoy your weekend, and please know how much we appreciate all that you've done to be in this position. So congratulations.
Thank you, Mike. At this time, we're going to ask each inductee to come up to the lectern individually for a few words. We start with a track and cross-country runner who earned 10 varsity letters, led Army to a 6th place finish at the 1993 NCAA Championships. From the class of 1995, Michael Leland Bernstein.
Thank you very much. I'm truly honored and humbled to be here and join this induction class tonight. 24 years ago, I don't think there'd be anybody in the world that would think that I'd be here standing at this lectern tonight. You see, the first couple years here at West Point, I actually struggled quite a bit, just balancing the demands of the academics with the military demands and the grueling workouts throughout the cross-country, indoor, outdoor track season. But upon reflection, I believe the reason for my achievements, my athletic achievements on the fields of friendly strife, were really twofold. First, it was a decision that I made back in my yearling year, and then second is really the support of those around me. First, I just want to quickly discuss that decision. My plebe year, like I mentioned, I struggled in cross-country and indoor track. And I actually remember the bus leaving as I stayed back at West Point, and I wasn't going to the away track meets just because my performance wasn't at that level. I rationalized my less than stellar performance to a teammate and lifelong friend, Liam Collins. I remember him driving me to the airport the day after his graduation, which was the end of my plebe year, and we were talking about next year's cross-country season. And I remember telling him that I wasn't going to be a big contributor to the cross-country team because I was a miler. And he reminded me that if I were to look, the best milers were also the best cross-country runners, and that if I wanted to be good at one, I had to focus on the other. And that really stuck with me and broadened my mindset on what I could achieve. My yearling year brought a little bit more success. I was now the number 4 or 5 man on the cross-country team, and by all accounts was considered a good collegiate runner. But now I had a tremendous fire in my belly, and this wasn't enough for me. I decided at the end of my yearling year that I didn't want to be just good, that I wanted to be truly great. That decision and the conviction and discipline that came with it made all the difference. That decision guided my training regimen, my diet, my time management, and my priorities. That decision was not easy at any point, but I believe it's one of the major reasons for my success. Let me talk about the support. As I reflected on the journey to this evening, it's become abundantly clear to me that many people in my life had a significant impact on me getting to this point. I'd like to recognize a few of those people here today. First, there's Jack Swift, teammate, classmate, and lifelong friend. Each morning during my yearling year, he would march 2 flights of stairs every day to come get me so we can go to morning practice. Oftentimes, though, he'd walk into a dark room because I was still asleep. Jack would wake me up, 30 seconds we'd be out the door, and we'd make practice. Those morning runs were foundational for our success, and I thank Jack for making sure I got there. Jason Stewart, another teammate, lifelong friend, and fellow Hall of Famer here. I remember doing some hard workouts where I'd start to fall back, and Jason would literally grab my shirt in the middle of the workout and tell me to stay up there. This slight gesture was enough for me to win that mental battle and to stay in the workout and finish with the team. There's Coach Basil. He was my coach for 4 years here at the Academy. A legend who always had a zinger or two up his sleeve, and he wasn't afraid to unleash it. Many folks don't know this, but there was a time when I struggled to keep all the balls in the air with cadet life, and I questioned my ability to reach my full potential. I actually considered leaving West Point at one point in time, and it was Coach Basil who stepped in and convinced me that I could achieve anything I wanted here at West Point, that I would make it through, and that I would be great. Many others had a distinct role in my success. There's Tim Grine, a talented runner and chronic ankle twister, who shared the passion for our team and for us to be the fastest distance runners in the country. There was Eric Ream, Jeff Harris, Ken Burkeen, Paul Ryan, Scott Kirkpatrick, Rance Lee, and the aforementioned Liam Collins, and as well as our officer representative, John Kelleher. Their friendship and support over the course of the thousands of miles that we ran together were instrumental. And finally, there's my wife of 25 years, my best friend, who has stood by me and believed in me more than anyone else. As a cadet, I remember entering the gates of Thayer with an uneasy feeling in my stomach, a type of anxiety that I think a lot of cadets feel. But today, entering the gates, I feel so proud at the excellence I see around me. And as I reflect on the decision that I made many years ago and the unyielding support that I had from the people around me to make this a reality, I just want to thank everybody for their support. Thank you for inclusion in the Hall of Fame, and look forward to having a great night. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Congratulations. Next, a three-time All-American in gymnastics and the 1950 ECAC individual champion from the class of 1950, Carl Lachlan Brunson.
I don't need a mic. Mom told me that I had 2 minutes. That's too much. There's no way that I could weave the story of a hayseed country boy from the cotton fields of South Carolina emerging to this chair in 2 minutes. So I'm going to spare you that privilege and just say that I'm delighted to stand here and address this august group. It's a surprise to me, and you can't imagine the thrill. It's also amusing because when Bob called my house, my daughter who stays with me now and looks after me and provides for me, she said, well, I think you have the wrong number. And she was serious. And I said, Kenna, we don't live in the end of the world. She said, well, on a clear day you can see the northeast corner. So here I am. And my message is no one receives an honor or recognition from his classmates, his teammates, and his friends, extension thereof. And I'm looking at that, and that's impressive. I'm overwhelmed, to say the least. And I'd like to thank you people for being here. I know a lot of you, I know from where you come and who you are and what you are, and I'm impressed. And I appreciate you helping me recognize a special time that is the greatest thrill that I have received in my life. And I appreciate that, and I thank you for coming, and I applaud this wonderful institution that brings all this together in our institution.
Thank you. Congratulations. From the class of 1976, a three-time All-American and only the second cadet to win an IC4A championship, Dennis Robert Trujillo.
Thank you all very much. I'm going to speak very little now because I have another chance to speak this evening at the dinner, and I don't want to repeat myself. So I'll say a few words. Got to thank the high school coach. He encouraged me to attend West Point and did a great job. I was just raw talent, but I didn't know what to do with it. He disciplined me to be a runner and to win 4 state championships in Colorado, and 2 in cross country, 2 in Hawaii. So Coach Pickering, who passed away. Coach Kroll passed away my senior year at cross country. During the cross country season, I was in the class number 1, and they said the cross country coach passed away during the season. The officer representative took over as Colonel Beal. He did an excellent job. And what he told us at practice that night that the coach passed away, he said, Coach Kroll wrote some words on his pad that today was worked out at Black Rock Forest. We're going to go out and do 10 miles of Black Rock Forest. And he said, that's what we're going to do. That's the last will and testament. So we got on the back of the deuce and half trucks, so they trucked us out. The cross country didn't have buses. We went around deuce and half trucks. And we did the 10 miles of Black Rock Forest per Coach Kroll's instructions. This is my first time back to West Point in 43 years at grade 76. I attempted to make it here in 2001. It was my 25th anniversary. And I was teaching in Korea, and I was going to bring my daughter, who was in 6th grade. I promised her I'll take her to West Point. She was coming. We were on a taxi to Incheon Airport in Korea. They said all the flights to the United States have been canceled. It was the day of the 9/11 terrorist attack in New York City. And so the union was canceled, and I didn't make it. So I made it now. So I have to keep a promise to my daughter. She's here today. Lena, could you stand up? guest here today, her husband, who's a Green Beret, Matthew Riley. Can you stand up? Those two little guys are Isabel and Charlie. They're standing up, I think. Well, I'm going to take a quote from my hero, who was Steve Prefontaine, who was the best distance runner we've had in this country. He ran for the University of Oregon. He's the only person who won his events all 4 years, the 3 mile and the NCAA championships. But he said to give less than your best is sacrificing your difference. So that's how we made it. Michael Farmer, you have to give it to your best. And if you don't, you're sacrificing the gift that you give us. And everybody who's done sports before understands that. So thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Congratulations. Also in our 2019 Army Sports Hall of Fame class, Lloyd Appleton, who guided Army wrestling to 86 dual match wins over a 20-year career and mentored 10 EIWA champions, as well as Mortimer Ernst Sprague, a 2-time football All-American and inducted into the National Football Foundation Hall of Fame in 1970. How about a round of applause for our Army Sports Hall of Fame class for 2019? At this time, we'd like everyone to remain seated, save for the inductees, as well as General Jeb, Mr. Buddy. We're going to move to the back left of the room to unveil the plaques for the class of 2019.